Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to do a comparison on these two Instant Pod coffee makers. They do K-Cups and an espresso pod to make an espresso shot. So they just released this new instant 2-in-1 multifunction coffee maker, model number DPCM-1100. This is their older one. They call it the Instant Pod, multi-pod single brew coffee maker and espresso maker, model number Multipod-68MB. So these things look a lot alike and they've got a lot in common, but the newer model does have some nicer features. So here's the older one. They called it an Instant Pod. There's the new box. There must be going to a name called Instant. So the first change is the looks. So this one looks a lot different than this one, but they're acting quite a bit the same. This one just looks different here. This is the older one. I will be brewing a coffee K-Cup and a espresso shot in each one and comparing them. So up here at the top, they revamped the touchscreen. This touchscreen is a lot better than this one. I know sometimes pressing these buttons can be tricky. You press them real hard, you press them soft. They don't work all the time. I have had a little bit of trouble with this older touchscreen. This one works much, much better. It's flat. It's not got that recess like this. Now they also added a bold button, so I can do a bold brew. I cannot do a bold brew over here. They also added an add water light and a clean light. This one does not have that. This one will actually let you run the machine dry, which is really bad for a machine to run dry. This one, that add water light will come on and it won't let you do a brew if there's not enough water in the reservoir. So the next thing you probably notice is they added beeps. You can turn the beeps off on this. Check out I'm going to do a separate video on how to turn the beeps off, but you can turn the beeps off. But they did add beeps when you're touching the buttons, when it starts the brew, and when it finishes the brew. There are no beeps on this one. They also added a high altitude mode. So you can put this machine into high altitude mode. You cannot put this one into high altitude mode. They kept the exact same measurements. 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12. 246, 246. This all looks the same. We lift it up. I have not noticed any difference. Looks like they kept the same mechanism, the same brew basket. Here it is over here. Here's where the Nespresso pod goes. This all looks really close to being the same. The drip tray is the same. You pull this out, this is the same. They didn't change any of this. They really did change the appearance of this. Obviously, this one looks nicer. So we come around back. Here's the older one. Here's the newer one. You can see they added that float. That's for the add water. The add water works really good on this one. It's a float. And I do notice that it comes on right around the minimum mark. It doesn't come on too early. It doesn't come on too late. So it works really well. And then the descaling is going to be the same, but this one added a clean light. Over here, the 10 and 12 ounces would flash at you to let you know it's time to descale. The manual's a little unclear. It says the 10 and 12 is also going to flash at you and you're going to get the clean light. I'm not for sure, but if you get the clean light, it's time to descale. I got a separate video on each one of these, how to descale them with vinegar. And again, it takes a standard K-Cup and an espresso pod. Now make sure it's the original line Nespresso pod. So I'm going to try to take temperatures while I'm brewing. It's a little tricky. But I can tell you the bold brew raises the temperature almost 8 to 10 degrees on the bold brew. It does take a little bit longer. I didn't notice it on the espresso shot. That thing's so quick anyway, but when you do a coffee K-Cup, on the bold setting, it does take a little bit longer, maybe 10, 15 seconds longer, but it is longer, but it raises the temperature. Over here, no bold setting, it's the same temperature. So these have pretty much the same temperature. When this one's not on bold, they've got the same temperature that they put out. But this one, you do get a higher temperature when you put it on bold. Okay, so let's brew an espresso shot. The handles close exactly the same. I'm going to do a 2 ounce. Okay, I'll press this one first. I'm going to do a bold over here on the espresso shot so you can see the temperature difference. All right, so let's do 2 ounce. 2 ounce. There was beeps over here. 140, 175. Again, so hard to catch. I saw about 165 here and about 185 here. So the espresso ends up being 158. So quite a bit warmer, 140. So quite a bit warmer when you do use the bold setting on this one. I'm not a coffee taste expert, but when I put either one of these with a cappuccino or latte, they both taste really good. I don't know if I forgot to tell you, but this new one does come with this instant pot or instant reusable K-cup. Now, Perfect Pod, these work. I've got a video that shows how they work on this one. They work perfectly fine on both of these. So even this one's just a little different. The needle doesn't pierce the bottom on either one of these, but it's got this little ledge here. So they both hold 2 tablespoons of coffee. Just that this one does come with one. Okay, let's brew a K-cup. Put that in. Again, I'm going to do a bold setting. I'll do an 8 ounce, and I'll just do an 8 ounce here. Okay. That one beeps. They both sound exactly the same. $162. Noticeably hotter, 190. 167. 182, I saw. 182. The older one's about 175. So yeah, about an 8-degree temperature split. Again, I'm doing a bold one on the new one. 185, 186. That's about the highest I see. And 180 over here on the old one. 187. Interestingly enough, it didn't take longer. So really, I guess I got fooled, but I thought the bold brewing was going to take a little bit longer, but it must just change the temperature because it did exactly the same as the old one, time-wise. You end up with 163. So yeah, you do end up with a hotter coffee. 156. So price-wise, this one right now is $200, which does seem kind of high. I can still find these. These are getting harder and harder to find. My local Walmart, they've got a display model, but they haven't had any of these on sale for a very long time. So I could tell something was going on. They were discontinuing them or something, but I have not seen that box on the shelves for like the last 6 months. I did buy this one off of eBay. It was in a damaged box. I got it for, I think, $90. So you still can find these out there, but this one is $200. Is it, eventually I imagine these are going to be the only ones that are available. I would think the price is going to come down a little bit. Seems like around the 150 range would be a little nice. But it's a very capable machine. Again, the beeps are a little annoying maybe. You can turn the bold brewing it seems like the way to go, especially with an espresso. You really want that hot as can be. I mean, you can tell they used a lot of the same components. And I've done temperature checks, so when you're not doing a bold brew, they brew the exact same temperature. So thanks everybody for watching. I have a detailed review on this, how to turn the beeps off, how to put it in high altitude mode, how to descale it, and same with this, how to descale this one, how to use a reusable K-cup. I'm not going to do a video on how to use a reusable K-cup on this one because I've used it and I've used the Perfect Pod. It works exactly the same. So the reusable K-cup is exactly the same in both of them. So thanks everybody for watching. If you could, please like and subscribe.